Some of you have had quite some difficulty in terms of dealing with the emotional content of your body, of your mind and your emotions. And after all these years of working with you and explaining things to you, it was pointed up to me, and of course it's pretty obvious to some of you now that I work very closely with the insight. That's one of my babies, like the movement's one of my babies, you know. It's like A and A. So that's in case people, you know, ever wonder about that. That a lot of the things that I teach you people in terms of the theory, you know, it's like we come here and experiences do take place inwardly, and that's the value of these seminars, is that there's all of a sudden an inner thing goes on, you say like, my God, what was that? And it's like, you have just entered into the next phase of your inner existence. Now, no one else around you may know that takes place. And that's cool, because who cares anyway, but let's say me and you, and mostly you, because I have already got mine established. And I am just working with you on your establishment. Because everybody who is great and is great started out making all the miscellaneous mistakes. Nobody just started out great. And we don't expect them to. If they do, then we'll know that Jesus has returned. And I'm ready to give up this seat real fast. But I get letters, they say, JR, the movement's changed over the years, and it's not like it used to be. And I say, oh, thank God. Because it wasn't in God consciousness. And I think we can get it there. I'm not worried about me. But I think that as a group, we can more just put aside our prejudices, our doubts, our bull, and say, for this time, anything is possible. And the impossibility, well, the difficult we'll do immediately. And the impossible will take just a little bit longer. And that can never be done, we'll do it next week. You understand what we're dealing with? We're going to do it. We're just going to do it. We may not have all the techniques down, but it will appear. And we're going to share that with you. And we're going to work that with you. And I told people a long time ago, clear back in '71, I prophesied ahead into the future. I said, look in terms of this movement. And I laid out the things, and Lord, if they haven't just fallen right in the slot, almost to the day and the hour, it was right there. And it was said in '78, the movement would expand into a great big force across the planet. And many of the things that would be doing, we don't even know about today. Now that was clear back in '71, and clear back in '68, and clear back even to '63. Because we're just not doing those yet, and we're not ready yet, and we haven't got the personnel trained yet. But they're being trained, and they're being brought forward. Remember all that? You know, and tonight you're seeing that prophecy fulfilled. And that's neat. Because there's nothing quite so odorous as a false prophet. And let me tell you, a lot of this is because, and not just you people that are present tonight, but many people who are high-level initiates, who are in the inner worlds, in the inner training, in the inner seminars, have given up their space for the chairs for the new people. And they say, like, I'd really like to be there, JR, and because, you know, wow, we just want to sop all that up. But also, you know, I'm there in the inner now. And I'm able to now know that I'm there in the seminars in the inner while I'm home reading a book or watching television or something. I am also now aware that I am present in the seminars. And a lot of them were saying, I didn't know that I was present, but Lord, my husband or my wife would come home and they'd tell me these things, and I knew that because I'd already been going through it all evening. And I knew that I had gone through that in terms of I was there in the electronic body, or what we call a higher body. Some of us who do have that ability to see were well aware they were there. And you've heard me talk to you about the various levels of consciousness that appear in these seminars. And I've said, even if you take a tape recorder and put on a JR seminar and plug it in, and there's nobody in the room, and you go ahead and walk away, that room will be filled with people who've come to hear that. And it stands to reason then we're not really interested in physical bodies. You know, give us a lot of physical bodies. Of course, wash them first. We're not interested in that, but we are interested in levels of consciousness that we're reaching. And where that physical body is just absolutely fine. If it's here, fine. If it's not, fine. But we want the consciousness to be in God's love, because that's going to affect a lot of people. And we're striving for that. And I mean striving not in terms of stressing ourselves. We're setting that up. We're allowing God to participate more readily and openly in everything we're doing. And you people that are here now, and a lot of you new people who are here for the first time physically, are not new to me. You're old to me. I've known you for a long time. And you're also part of this. Even though you may never come back into these seminars ever again, you are part of this because you're in flesh and blood. And you may not know it, but everyone who leaves here that goes out and badmouths me has advertised me. And a lot of people said, well, I'm going to go find out for myself because that guy can't either be all that good or all that bad. Well, come and find out. And they come and find out and they say, this is a work of spirit. I tell people, sure, believe me if you want to. But if you don't believe me when I tell you I'm the mystical traveler and that incarnation, then believe me my works. Look around. Look around at each other. For these are the very works of spirit. And you don't have to believe me at all. And look in your heart. And the moment you can say, well, I don't know if that's so or not. Maybe he is and I don't think he is. Your heart will say, bull roar. You know better. And at that moment, you either have to deny yourself or you have to affirm the existence. And all you have to do is look around at the light and the love that comes in people's eyes and in their heart. Until you say, well, if this is the work of the devil, I can't wait to see God because it's got to be so fantastic. Because this is so good. And if the devil's so bad, look how good we've got it. And it is. Of course, I've never really known the negative forces to do good works. I've never known them to do anything except be members of the loyal opposition. And I've never known them to do anything except train us and strain us and make us stronger no matter what. I've never known them to give grace. I've only known them to place it in front of you to see if you're strong enough. And I've often said, thank God they're there. And people have said, you mean thank God the devil's there? And I say, yeah, if there be such a thing. Thank God, because out of God came all things, including the devil. And if God's satisfied with that, who am I to sit here and say, well, I think that's terrible. I think we shouldn't have a devil. How are we going to sandpaper and get rid of the mung that comes around us? How are we going to get rid of it and rise to that is us? And last night I said, in the flesh, in this world, you're not worthy, and you've never been worthy, and it never will be worthy. The flesh. But you that resides in the flesh are absolutely worthy. You understand the difference? But I'm saying, even though we're not worthy in the flesh, we still present ourselves to God and approach it anyway, because in spirit we are worthy. So I don't want there to be a contradiction in that. Also, I want to just clear up another little thing that could have been a misunderstanding. And I don't mind doing this because the errors, if they be as such, were done in terms of honest error. You know, it wasn't like, well, I'm going to mislead you, ha-ha. Look, your spiritual exercises, so you've done 1,000 hours, since June. What value is that to you just to sit and become a mechanical robot to repeat, but do one in absolute 100% intention, devotion, and it's worth your 1,000 hours. Do 1,000 hours in absolute perfect devotion, and you won't be here. Now, anytime you want to leave, here's your best way out, folks. Your body will just be evaporated right up to the next level. You'll be able to take it with you. Some of you don't want to, I know that. But I'm saying you could. Some of you say, well, I want to get in a better shape before I go. But you're waiting for somebody to come along to help you when help is now here. Help in terms of spirit. Not help in terms of we're going to break your arm or show you how to eat or anything. Not that help. That's crippling. That's destructive. But where we say, here's the theory, listen closely. Here's the idea, listen closely. Look at it, look closely, listen closely. And the result appears spontaneously. And nobody has to tell you that it appears spontaneously. And you know in that heart of hearts. You know. And nobody can destroy that because it has awakened itself to you. And it says, here I am. I've told a lot of people, so you don't think I can do this? Well, fine. And if that's true, then that's the way it is. But if it's not true, you may be in some problems. But rather than you trying to decide out of your mind that can't decide, why don't you just go ahead back into your heart and get in there and take a look and see who's in there? And a lot of those have said, all right, I'll do that. I'll see. I'll show you. Have gone back in there, and they come up and they said, I found you. I said, yeah. Last night at 4:30, you went in there. They said, yeah. I said, how'd you know? I said, God, don't do that. That's just another one of the mind games destroying that is precious. They said, they stopped and they said, yeah, you're right. It's there. And all I've said to you is validate your experience. Do not avoid the relationship with that in your heart. When you avoid it, you say, well, yeah, but maybe I was deceiving myself. Don't do that. I can trick your mind so fast, turn it inside out, that it'd make you wonder what's going on. But your heart of hearts knows the truth. Now just be practical for a second. Supposing I said something to you that I couldn't prove or back up. And you went in there and it wasn't there. The game's all up with me, right? And all these millions of dollars I make out of all you people donating your $2 or $3. All these billions of dollars are now gone. Geez, I'm going to have to go out and get an honest job digging a ditch or something. Now, why on earth would I want to do that? I mean, why doesn't it stand to reason that I really like this and that I'm going to maintain this and I'm going to keep this going, and the best way to do it is to not tell you what I can't deliver and not mislead you into area when you get down and you say, you did it, and by God, now I'm going to badmouth you till hell freezes over. And I tell you, yours froze over just right then. Can you understand the logic behind that? If it was one shot for a billion, they had 10 billion, I might be tempted to mislead you, but not for $3. I'm sorry. Not for your $150 a year that you've donated to this movement. No, I'm sorry. I can be had, but that's very mundane. Billions? All right, I'm going to enter the temptation. I'm going to consider it. But on the other thing, you might just as well forget it right off the reel. And that's why when we're dishonest, we lose the divine aid. And that applies here equally as well. Do you understand that? This body is not exempt any more than your body is exempt. These emotions are not exempt. This mind is not exempt. That's why I know what you do and what you go through. If I didn't have these things, I couldn't work with you and understand and know what you go through and go through them with you, because I wouldn't have a vehicle by which to do that. You understand that? But I don't let that run me. The difference is often you let it run you. Nothing is going to run me, not a cigarette, not an alcoholic drink, not sex, not anything is going to run me. I may run with it as an experience, but when I get tired, it isn't going to beat me in the head. See, I'm not going to grab a tiger by the tail, because when you let go, it'll devour you. That's foolish. And yet some of you grab it, thinking that when you let go, you will be exempt and it won't turn around and bite you. And it'll bite your head off. And it hurts. And yet, you'll do that over and over and mislead yourself, and I don't do it to you once. Out of all these years, and go back and check all the information. Sure, some was contradictory. I've told you right on the spot, this is contradictory, and then I contradicted it. Because why? I understand the nature of the spiritual energies that comes through the mind. And I understand it is that way, but I'm not the one doing that. I am the one describing that. And when you get there, you say, that was a good description. It did the same thing to me, but it didn't throw me because I understood the theory. Now we're hoping that we can get into more of the practical application. Insight training seminars are the practical application of these things. It is not designed to get you to heaven. It's designed to get you in touch with those levels in this world that have not been in touch and that you are not in control of in terms of you've overcome it. And once you've done that, the spiritual exercises are designed to get you into heaven. Insight training breaks the crystals, right? And some of you have gone through insight training and crystallized what insight training is. You come back to another and it'll break that crystal up. Then you go to another and you'll think, oh, that's what it is, and it'll break that up. And then you go to one trainer who does it one way and go to another trainer who does it another way, and that'll break the crystals up. That will not get you to heaven. It's not designed for that. It's designed to break them free so you're here, so that when you sit down to do spiritual exercises, that place inside of you before that was tacky, that kept blocking you, is now gone. And you can then move rapidly into the Spirit. That's what it's about. And I want you to keep in mind those things. The planet's changing. It's not my idea. I'd like to have it like it was when I was 18. The body, but to know everything I know now. But I had to give up something to get to this. But I didn't know the sacrifice had to be so severe. Or I might not have done it. But it's past now, and there's nothing we can do about that. And so we can't let the years of 18 and 20 and 25 indict us today. What happened to you in the past is past. And yesterday should not be brought in today to complain and yell at each other. That was yesterday. The Bible said, the evil of today is enough. Don't carry it over till tomorrow. And it's like, that's right. Get it done and out of the way, and wake up in the morning and say, who are you? Of course, it might be, who are you? You don't know where you've been. But to make it the newness, the spontaneity of life. Of course, when you kiss them, you say, same old buffalo breath. And it's like, that's too bad, too. You should watch what you feed them. See, we have those types of responsibilities. Give them a piece of parsley when they go to bed at night. Or a little alfalfa or chlorophyll. See, there are so many ways to handle life. And just a little bit of humorous ingenuity. And not just ingenuity, because you can also do that in a Machiavellian type of way, you know, to destroy somebody. But it's got to be like, well, what would really be humorous? You know, just as they getting ready to wake up and they're laying there snoring with their mouth open, you know, give them a binocular blast. And they wake up feeling refreshed and wonderful. You know, a little digression here. Quite a few years ago, I was talking to a lady who was a really good friend of mine, like a sister. And we talked over a lot of things, and she was having a hard time with her husband because he was snoring. Now, some of you have had that experience where the husband just really goes, and he's asleep. That isn't to say that the women don't do that. Because some men say, you should hear her. I mean, all night long. I said, okay. The other alternative is to sleep in another bed. She said, well, we've talked about that. I said, okay, and what's the result? She said, well, I did. I went and slept on the couch. I said, yeah. What happened? She said, well, he was laying there snoring real loud, and he stopped, and I thought maybe he died, and I went in to see what was wrong. She said, so and there was always something like that, so I couldn't sleep away from him either. It's like I can't sleep with him, I can't sleep away from him. It's like, oh, that's fine. I said, well, anything else? She says, well, do you have any suggestions? I said, why don't you get some earplugs? She says, earplugs? I said, yeah. And I told her what kind. She got them. She laid on. She says, why don't you tell me that first thing out? I said, well, why didn't you just do that the first thing out? And she says, well, I just never thought of it. I said, well, okay. So you don't lay it on me because you don't think. But the nice thing about it, I says, you've had 6 months of the most absolute funniest conversations going, haven't you? She said, really? I said, and what's been the real upshot of that? She said, well, my husband and I really weren't getting along too well. We were really kind of hassling. She says, and I was a big part of it because I wasn't getting my rest, and I'd wake up and I'd just be really crappy. And he'd say, you don't get your rest and you're crappy. And she'd say, yeah, it's because of you. And he'd say, that's not true, I'm asleep. And so all points were valid. All were valid, not necessarily all were right. She says, but the interesting thing is that we've really gotten closer together now. She says, and everything is a lot better now. She said, we've actually had 6 months of laughing and talking about the thing that before we were ready to kill each other over. The humorous ingenuity. You see? And that's what I've been going here through with you the last few minutes, is the humorous ingenuity. To show you, to bring the humor in. And in that sense of humor, you can talk about anything and get away with it. And you can put the points over and the messages come over. But if you're trying to be humorous, in terms of like hurting or manipulating somebody, it hurts. It's poking fun at them. See, there's the difference. So we can have our beads read by our enemy if they're humorous with us and the way they do it. And we benefit and we grow and we gain because what they don't tell us, we pick up for ourselves. And we take and we do it anyway. This evening, as I've been working with you to get your heart prepared to do the heartfelt meditation. And I'd like you now to sort of like come into an open position. This is something that for some of you it's really going to be a paradox and a contradiction because you're going to say, well, how do you do that? And I'll say that's been your problem because you keep questioning instead of doing. And as you do go along with this, and let me say, please go along with this. For some of you, after this period of time, are going to say, I felt my heart. The heart of hearts, not the beating of the heart, but that place inside of me. And I know now how to get there, and I can make it big until you don't point to your heart center, the physical heart, or the psychic heart, but that the whole body becomes the heart. And you become the living love. Now, sometimes people find this easier to do with their eyes closed. That's fine. Some people find that they can do it better with their eyes open. That's fine. You choose. Some will open them, sometimes they'll close them. But don't avoid the relationship. And this heartfelt meditation goes like this. Breathe in and breathe out. Take a very relaxed breath in and a very relaxed breath out. And this next breath, breathe in through your heart. You'll do it physically through your chest, but breathe in through your heart. And you'll start to feel that just a little bit of awareness come in. And as you breathe out through your heart. And just let that relax. Now take in a physical breath through your lungs. Breathe it in. Come on, breathe it in. Get the energy in there. And let out all your negativity. Just let it go out. Oh, that's beautiful. My God, you really did that. Take a relaxed breath in and a relaxed breath out. And this time as you breathe in through your heart, say the word God as you breathe in. And feel that in your heart. It'll fill in your physical heart area. And as you let out, just say God. Breathe in again through the physical heart, saying God. And as you breathe out, just say God. Now some of you are already feeling that tingling sensation like goose pimples. You're already on it. Now breathe in again real physically through your lungs and breathe it in. And this time, as you breathe out, relax the body. That's it. Oh, wow, a great feeling. Let that go. Now, from now on, you can breathe in and out as you feel like it. But each time you do, in your mind, you just breathe in God or breathe out the word God. Now, if you have a mantra, you can breathe in and out the mantra as you do it. And as we go along here, I'll give you the next step shortly. But let's start to feel that. Some of you will feel the blood getting warm around your heart. And you'll actually feel physically that heart center getting warm. And what you're doing is you're starting to percolate the blood. And that'll start going through the body. And you will feel the warmth of your blood going through you. And as it does, with this extra energy, this radiant energy, it will start purifying your body. And you may find your body moving to unusual positions. That's what we call the kriyas or kriyas, as the body moves to purifying energies and actions. While I'm talking to you, don't be distracted. Keep going in and out of the heart, breathing in and out of the heart. God, God, God. Now, periodically, as you're breathing in and out through the heart, and you feel the heart, and it starts to come alive, stop all action of the mind and just focus on the energy of the heart. And if you start to drift away to noise outside or something else, re-say the name God in your mind and refocus it back through your heart. Isn't that beautiful? That's the heartfelt meditation, where you get to feel your heart of hearts. Now, many of you, this will be just more or less restricted to the physical area that you call the heart of the body in the beginning. But as you practice this, it will grow and expand till you feel it'll start in the middle of the chest area. And some of you will feel like an asthma attack coming on, because it will be that new energy buzzing through you. And all you do is go in and out saying, God. If you have a TM mantra that you use, or if you have an affirmation that you use, like I am light, I am love, or your own initiation tone from the traveler, use that. And become one with that and actually feel that. And sometimes you'll find yourself going, as you take in a deep breath and release the negativity. And as you do that, make sure that the spine and the tension of the muscles relax. And just let them go. If you go to drift in your mind, come back to chanting the word God. Breathe in God through the heart. And if you have to visualize, see it, the word God going in and out of your heart, or something that represents God to you. If it's your child that you say, this to me represents God, then see that child going in and out of your heart. Not for any worldly gain do we do this, but just so that we can do it as heartfelt, so that we can get past our own mind and our own emotions and get into the heart of the hearts. The I am, the kingdom, the inner worlds, the far country, you, and get in touch with that. And sometimes you may find yourself wanting to hold your breath as you breathe in and out, just to hold it for periods of time. And that's fine too, as long as you keep the focus on your heart. Some of you will find out that the focus will shift from the physical heart up to what we call the spiritual eye center and the top of your head. And that's fine, because that's part of the heart of hearts. We're just using now the physical body reference point, because that's where you are, to tap in and to keep going. Don't strain yourself. Don't try to make it appear. Just be there and let it flow. You may find that you'll feel your back as you breathe, you'll feel the spine through the back of your lungs. And you say, wow, I can feel that. Then tell it to relax. And tell it to be healthy, not in terms of words, but in terms of just knowing. And keep coming back to the heart. So you might be breathing in, saying, God. And feel the back and say, relax back and spine. And breathe out saying, God. Breathe in. And out saying, God. But do it through your heart, not through your throat. Sure, the energy will go out through your throat, but the God goes in and out of the heart. Some of you are starting to feel that rosy feeling that's going through your feet and your hands and the tingling. You're just energizing. You're bringing the Spirit consciously into you. And as you get there, more and more, you'll find that the traveler descends as grace, as your heart. Don't avoid the relationship with it. And at that point, if you just want to say, John Roger, in and out of the heart, you may find it bursts into awareness. Then you'll know what I've been talking about. Not intellectually, because it's not there, but spiritually. practice this at night before you go to sleep. If you wake up in the night, do the heartfelt meditation. It doesn't take the place of doing spiritual exercises. It's just another way of doing the spiritual exercise. And at some point in this, it may be the first time that you do it, or the 5,000th time, you'll find that you'll be breathing in and out the heart of the universe. And you'll be riding the sound current to God. But ride inside of yourself first, so that you know. Now, I don't expect you to have all the success tonight at this time, but I'm going to show you an adjunct to this. In your imagination now, bring your loved one close to you, face to face. And place them close by you in your imagination, so that their heart's over the opposite side of where your heart is. And as you breathe in God, and you breathe out God, breathe it in and out through their heart also, and circle it around through your bodies, so that you become one. And feel the love in them through God. And as you do this, let the angers go, let the controls go, and just have this heartfelt meditation with them. And when you get a chance physically with your spouse, your loved one, and you're in bed close together, and if you can lie so that your bodies are touching, lay each one together and practice the heartfelt meditation. Let this be your prelude to all love, so that as you enter into it, there is the fulfillment. And even if the sexual things don't fulfill you, the heartfelt meditation will do all of that. If you feel the tears coming up, let them come up, but keep focusing back on God, breathing in and out of your heart. And go ahead and have yourself the cry, but keep focusing on God. See? Don't avoid the relationship with God in your heart. And as these things come up that have distracted you by what other people have done, just be aware they're there. Don't focus on them, but focus on the heart. Don't avoid the relationship with the God of your heart. If that loved one in your mind you can't face, turn them so that you're both facing in the same direction. And then hug them close to you so your hearts are one in front of the other. And breathe love and God from your heart in through theirs and out and back through yours, so that your heart is like beating for them. And let the Christ appear. Don't force it. Just now it can appear as the heartfelt heart. Some people in the beginning of this won't get much out of it because it's a paradox and an apparent contradiction, except for those of you who have got it. And you'll say, it was the real God, not the apparent reality, but the real reality. And let those tears go. They're the baptism. Let the joy go. It's your gift. And let all things be new. And if things come up, remember, the remedy is focus back on the heart and breathe in God and breathe out God. Just the word. If it starts to take a color, breathe the color in and breathe the color out. If you say, I could do the hue easier, breathe the hue in and the hue out, or the anai hue. No problems with these, because it's the heart that we are feeling and dealing with. And if it feels better for you to say heart, then do that. But feel it moving through your consciousness. And it will expand and expand, and just go with it. You can do this type of heartfelt meditation where you're at your office, while you're on the phone, while you're doing anything. Driving a car, it won't matter. Just this heartfelt meditation. And when people yell at you and come with hard words, turn their hard words aside with kind words of your heartfelt meditation. And when they look at you harshly, you look back at them from your heart of hearts, and they will change right in front of you. Then you're going to know more. Many of the things that I have been talking about. Don't be concerned. Just let it go and let it flow. Now, because we have a time schedule here, we're going to have you all just breathe in physically a deep breath. Recenter yourself in your beingness. And release the negativity out. And here physically, I'd like you to just reach out and touch somebody else's hands around you. If you can do it on both sides, fine. If it's just one side, fine. Just some touch of their body. Just some touch. Their foot, their toe. Just touch them. And let this heart move through every one of us. And now let's all take in a deep breath as one. And let God come in and release the negativity. It was beautiful. No one avoided the relationship. No one avoided the relationship. You see? Some of you didn't relate as much as you could have, but that's okay. You can let go of hands if you want to. If you want to hang on, hang on. You know why? You're just touching yourself and the other person through their heart. And we can all be that person we are. The challenge this week, see? Turn away harsh words with kind words. And you'll be able to do this if you've really got the heartfelt meditation going through you. Berush Beishan.